I'm Ava, a 29-year-old stay-at-home mom living in a cozy house I inherited from my grandma. It's not just any house. It's a piece of my childhood filled with memories of baking cookies with grandma and playing hide and seek in its spacious rooms. Now, it's home to my own little family, my husband, Mark, a hardworking manager, and our 2-year-old sunshine Lily. Life sounds picture perfect, right? Well, it's not. The problem starts right next door, where Mark's parents, Helen and Frank, live. Our relationship, let's just say it's like mixing oil and water. Mommy, more juice! Lily's voice cuts through my thoughts. I pour her some juice, glancing at the clock. Almost 5 p.m. Time for the daily invasion. As if on cue, the door swings open. Ava, we're here! What's for dinner? Helen announces, with Frank shuffling in behind her. Hi, Helen. Frank? I've made a casserole, but it's just enough for Mark, Lily, and me, I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. Frank frowns. What do you mean, just enough? You know we come over for dinner? Helen chimes in, her tone sharp. You're at home all day, Ava. Is it too much to ask for a decent meal? I take a deep breath, feeling the frustration bubble up. I have my hands full with Lily, and cooking for 4 is a bit much every day. Mark walks in, tired from work. What's going on here? Your wife doesn't want to cook for us, Frank says, his voice raising. Mark looks at me, then at his parents, and sighs. Can't you just make a bit more, Ava? My frustration peaks. It's not about the amount, Mark. It's about respect and boundaries. Helen scoffs. Boundaries. We're family. Lily, sensing the tension, tugs at my dress. Mommy, I'm hungry. I kneel to her level. Let's get you seated, sweetie. Dinner is a tense affair. Mark's parents eat the sandwiches they brought, throwing disapproving glances my way. The TV blares in the background. Lily's fidgeting in her chair, and I'm trying not to crumble under the weight of this daily chaos. After they leave, Mark sits on the sofa, absorbed in his phone. We need to talk about this, I say, standing in front of him. He doesn't look up. Not now, Ava. I'm tired. And just like that, I'm left alone in the kitchen, cleaning up the mess, both literally and metaphorically. This is my life, a constant battle of wills, with me on one side and the world on the other. Life has a funny way of testing you, and mine's turning into a daily pop quiz with no right answers. I'm Ava, still juggling motherhood, a marriage that's running on autopilot, and in-laws who've mistaken my home for a free-for-all diner. It's another morning in our house, and I've made a decision. Today, I'm cooking only for 3, me, Mark, and our little Lily. Let's see how this goes. Lily's in her high chair, happily smearing oatmeal on her face when Helen and Frank barge in, just like clockwork. Morning, Ava. What's for breakfast? Helen asks, a bit too cheerily. I take a deep breath. Morning. I've only made enough for Lily and me today. Frank's face turns red. What do you mean? Are we supposed to starve? No, you're supposed to take care of your meals, I reply, trying to keep my voice calm. Helen's eyes narrow. This is ridiculous, Ava. We are family. You can't just... I cut her off. I can, and I did. I have enough on my plate with Lily and the house. Mark comes in, rubbing his eyes. Why's everyone shouting so early? Your wife refuses to cook for us, Frank's voice booms. Mark looks at me, then at his parents, and says, Ava, why are you making things difficult? Difficult? I almost laugh. Mark, I'm not a 24/7 restaurant. I need help, not more mouths to feed. Mark doesn't say anything, just grabs a piece of toast and leaves for work. The day drags on. I can feel the tension thickening in the air. Dinner time rolls around, and I've stuck to my guns. Dinner for 3. Helen and Frank show up, each holding a sandwich. They sit down, unwrapping their food with exaggerated slowness. The TV's volume goes up, until it's like we're at a rock concert. Lily's rubbing her eyes, clearly struggling to stay awake amidst the noise. "Could you turn that down? Lily's trying to sleep," I ask, my patience wearing thin. Frank grunts. "We can't hear it if it's any lower." Helen adds, "You shouldn't be so uptight, Ava. It's just TV." "It's not just TV. It's my home turning into a battleground, and I'm losing." Lily starts to cry, and I scoop her up, escaping to the quiet of her room. Later, Mark comes home to find his parents still there. The living room, a mess. Lily asleep in my arms. "What happened here?" he asks, looking around. "I'm too tired for another round of arguments. Just the usual," I say, my voice flat. He doesn't push it, and neither do I, but inside, I feel something shift. I'm at my breaking point, and something's got to give. Every day feels like walking on eggshells in my own house. I'm Ava, still trying to find a balance between being a mom, a wife, and now, apparently, an unwelcome host to my in-laws. But today, it's not the in-laws that shake my world, it's Mark. It's late evening. Lily's finally asleep after what felt like hours of soothing. I'm clearing up the toys when Mark walks in, looking like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. "Ava, we need to talk," he says, avoiding eye contact. I sit down, bracing myself. "What is it, Mark?" He takes a deep breath. "I made a mistake with our finances. I invested in something and it didn't pan out." I feel a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean? How bad is it?" "It's bad, really bad. I've lost a lot, like $100,000. My heart stops. 100,000? How could you do that without telling me? Mark runs his hands through his hair, looking anywhere but at me. I thought I could make it big, you know. Fix everything. Fix what? We were fine. I can barely keep the tremor out of my voice. He finally looks at me, his eyes pleading. I know, but now we need a plan. A plan? I echo, feeling numb. Yeah, I was thinking, maybe we could move my parents into our house, rent out their place to cover the debts. My mind races. His parents in our house? Full time. The very thought makes me feel like I'm suffocating. Mark, are you serious? After everything with your parents, you want them here in our house all the time? He sighs. I know it's not ideal, but we don't have many options, Ava. I stand up, anger and disbelief swirling inside me. Not ideal. It's a nightmare, Mark. And you just decided all of this without even talking to me? He stands too, his voice rising. What was I supposed to do, Ava? I'm trying to fix this. By making my life a living hell, I shoot back. There's a silence, heavy and suffocating. Finally, I speak. My voice barely a whisper. Fine. Move them in. But this is on you, Mark? He nods, looking relieved and guilty all at once, but all I feel is a deep, sinking dread. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about trust, and I'm not sure how we come back from this. The day my in-laws moved in, it wasn't just their suitcases that entered our home. It was a tidal wave of chaos. Right from the start, it's clear that Helen and Frank are here to stay, and they have their own ideas about how things should be. Frank, Put that box in the living room and careful with it. Helen's voice echoes through the hallway as she directs her husband with military precision. I watch, holding Lily, who clings to me, wide-eyed at the commotion. Then, as if things couldn't get worse, Helen turns to me, Ava. We need to talk about rearranging the house. We need space for our things. I feel a knot in my stomach. Rearranging, Helen? There's not much space to work with. She waves her hand dismissively. Nonsense. Let's start with Lily's playroom. She can play in her bedroom, right? I'm taken aback. That's her space, Helen. She loves it there. Frank, carrying a heavy box, chimes in. The kid won't mind, Ava. Don't make a fuss. Lily buries her face in my neck, and I realize this is just the beginning. The days that follow are a blur of unwelcome changes. Helen and Frank unpack their belongings, turning the living room into their personal space. They replace my tasteful decor with their old-fashioned knacks, and the TV blares day and night with their favorite shows. I try to cook dinner one evening, with Lily tugging at my apron. Frank strolls in, eyeing the pots on the stove. What's this? Another one of your experimental dishes. I bite my tongue. It's a new recipe, Frank. If it's not to your liking, feel free to make something yourself. He laughs. In my day, women knew how to cook for their families. I feel a flash of anger, but before I can respond, Mark enters, looking weary. Can't we have one peaceful meal? I turn to him, my patience wearing thin. Peaceful? Mark, your parents have turned our home upside down. He avoids my gaze, grabbing a beer and retreating to the now occupied living room. Weeks pass, and the tension only grows. Helen has opinions on everything, from how I raise Lily to how I should manage the house. Frank, meanwhile, has taken to criticizing my cooking at every meal. One afternoon, I'm folding laundry when Helen walks in. Ava, these sheets aren't folded properly. Let me show you how it's done. I set my jaw. Thanks, Helen, but I've been folding sheets my whole life. She tuts, clearly not the right way. As she refolds the sheets, I feel a sense of helplessness. My own home no longer feels like mine. Night falls and I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The muffled sounds of the TV and my in-laws' laughter seep through the walls. Lily is asleep, but rest eludes me. I think back to the days when this house was filled with love and laughter, a stark contrast to the present. It feels like I'm losing a part of myself, bit by bit, as each day passes. Mark's side of the bed is empty. He's been spending more and more time working late. I'm left alone, wondering how things got this bad, and what, if anything, I can do to take back control of my life and my home. In a house that once felt like mine, I'm Ava, now a spectator in my own life. With my in-laws' takeover and Mark's growing distance, I'm left grappling with suspicions that refuse to settle. One afternoon, while Lily naps and the house is momentarily quiet, I call my brother, Jake. He's always been the one I turn to in tough times. Hey, Jake, I say, trying to sound casual. Ava, how's it going? Haven't heard from you in a while. I take a deep breath. Not great, Jake. I'm worried about Mark. He's different. Jake's tone shifts, more serious now. Different how? He's always working late, secretive with his phone, and there's this tension, like he's hiding something. Jake pauses, then says, You think he's seeing someone else? The words sting, even though I've thought them 1,000 times. I don't know, Jake. I just feel like I'm losing him. There's a resolve in Jake's voice when he speaks. Let me do something. I have a friend, a private detective. He can discreetly check on Mark, see what's up. I'm hesitant. A detective? Isn't that a bit much? Ava, if something's wrong, you need to know. For you and Lily. I sigh, a mix of relief and fear.
Okay, do it. But, Jake, keep it quiet.
I don't want to stir up more trouble if it's nothing.
You got it.
I'll take care of it, he assures me. Days pass, and each of Mark's late nights and hushed phone calls add to my growing unease. Then, one evening, Jake calls. Ava, I have some news. Can you meet me tomorrow? Just you? My heart sinks. Yes, I can make it. The next day, I sit across from Jake in a quiet cafe, the air thick with anticipation. So, what did you find out? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Jake hesitates, then hands me an envelope. Ava, it's not good. I open it to find photos and reports. There's Mark with a woman I don't recognize and a child.
My world spins. He has a
child? Jake nods solemnly. I'm sorry, Ava. The detective confirmed it. Mark's been living a double life. Tears blur my vision. How could he do this? To me? To Lily? Jake reaches across the table, his hand on mine. You're stronger than you know, Ava. We'll figure this out together. I nod, wiping away tears. I need to confront him, Jake. He has to explain this. Be careful, Ava. You don't know how he'll react. I have to know, Jake. I have to know why. Armed with the truth, but shattered inside, I head home. A confrontation is inevitable, and I need to brace myself for the storm that's about to hit. It's the evening of the dinner, and I'm Ava, preparing a meal that I know even my critical mother-in-law can't find fault with. The house is buzzing with a tense energy as I await the arrival of my brother, Jake. Tonight is about more than a family dinner. It's about unveiling a painful truth. As I set the table, I can feel the weight of the envelope in my pocket, heavy with the evidence of Mark's betrayal. My hands shake slightly, but I steady myself. This needs to be done. The dinner starts off like any other. Mark's parents, Helen and Frank, along with Mark, sit around the table, complimenting the food for a change. I catch Mark's eye, and he gives me a small, oblivious smile. It's almost time. Jake arrives, apologizing for being late. As he sits down, he casually turns to Mark. So, Mark, Ava told me about your investment ventures. Sounds interesting. Mark, caught off guard, coughs. Oh yeah, it's nothing big. I watch as Jake probes further. What kind of investments? Stocks? Real estate? Mark stumbles over his words. A bit of everything, really. I can see the confusion on Jake's face, feigned for the others, but all too real for me. Can you tell me more? I've been looking to invest myself. Mark fumbles, clearly out of his depth. It's complex stuff, hard to explain over dinner. That's my cue. I pull out the envelope and place it on the table, pushing it towards Mark. Maybe this will help explain, I say, my voice steady. Everyone's attention shifts to the envelope. Mark opens it, his face draining of color as he sees the photos. Him with another woman and a child. Helen gasps, Mark, what is this? Frank looks on, stunned into silence. Mark tries to speak, but nothing coherent comes out. He looks at me, betrayal in his eyes. Ava, why? Why? You have a second family, Mark. How could you do this to us? So you moved your parents to my house, and with the money you received from renting their apartment, you kept your mistress? I'm almost yelling now, the pain and anger I've been holding back spilling over. The room is silent, the air thick with shock. Helen and Frank look between Mark and the photos, disbelief written all over their faces. You lied to us, to your own family, Helen whispers, her voice filled with hurt.
Frank just shakes his head, unable to find words. Mark stands up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor.
I need to explain, he says, but it's clear no explanation can undo this.
He walks out of the room, and I'm left there with his parents in a deafening silence. The air in the house is thick with tension the morning after the revelation. I'm Ava, still reeling from the shock, but ready to face the consequences. Helen and Frank, Mark's parents, confront me in the kitchen, their faces twisted with anger. Helen's voice is sharp as a knife.
You! This is your doing! You drove our son to this!
I stare at her, disbelief and anger mixing in my gut.
Me! Your son lied to all of us, Helen?
Frank chimes in, his voice just as accusing. He was always a good boy until he married you. You must have pushed him away. My hands tremble with fury. I pushed him away. I cared for our family while he... Helen cuts me off. Oh, save it. You probably had men on the side too. That's why he did what he did.
I've had enough. How dare you? I yell. I've been nothing but loyal and supportive, and you blame me for your son's betrayal?
Frank steps closer, his face red. Our son would never have done this if it weren't for you. I take a step back, my heart pounding.
You know what? I don't need to listen to this. This is my house, and I want you out. Now...
Helen scoffs. You can't kick us out. This is our son's house, too. I stand my ground, firm and unwavering. No, Helen. This house was my grandmother's, and now it's mine. You have no right to be here after what you've said. Frank looks like he wants to argue, but Helen grabs his arm. Let's go, Frank. We don't need to stay where we're not wanted. As they pack their things, I feel a mix of relief and sadness. Once they're gone, I lock the door behind them, the click of the lock echoing in the empty house. Alone in the silence, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I look around the house, my house, and for the first time in a long while, I see a future where Lily and I can be free from lies and betrayal. I pick up the phone to call a locksmith. It's time to change the locks, to change our lives. The house feels different today, like a new chapter has just begun. I'm Ava, standing in my once troubled living room, now a space of peace and possibility. The legal battle is over, and the court's decision still echoes in my mind. I recall my lawyer's words from yesterday. The court has granted you substantial alimony and compensation for Mark's deceit and infidelity. He'll be paying for quite some time. I had felt a mix of relief and vindication hearing that. It wasn't about the money. It was about accountability. Lily, oblivious to the complexities of the adult world, plays on the floor. Her laughter is a balm to my soul. I watch her, thinking about our future. The phone rings, snapping me back to the present. It's Jake, checking in. Hey, Ava, how are you holding up? I smile. Better, Jake. Much better. The court's decision helped close a painful chapter. Jake's voice is warm. I'm glad, Ava. You deserve peace after all this. I glance at Lily. We both do. As I talk to Jake, I can't help but think about Mark. The last I heard, he was struggling to make ends meet, now living with his parents again. It's ironic, I say to Jake. He's back where he started, but this time by his own doing. Jake sighs. He brought it on himself, Ava. You did what you had to do. I nod, feeling a sense of closure. Mark's choices led him here, and I no longer feel any obligation to worry about him. After the call, I sit with Lily, watching her play. The court's decision has given us a financial cushion, but more importantly, it's given us freedom. Mommy, look! Lily holds up a drawing of our house.
Our home,
she says proudly.
I hug her. Yes, sweetie, our happy home. I realize then that this is just the beginning for us. A beginning filled with hope, strength, and the love we have for each other. The road ahead is ours to shape, and I feel ready to embrace whatever comes our way, with Lily by my side.